Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jennifer Bagley, host Catalyst for the Trades, and I am so excited to be here with you. But before we get started, we're going to play a little game. We're going to start with Chuck introducing our guest, and then our guest introducing Chuck.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Catalyst for the Trades podcast. Excited to be here. We had a lot of great guests this week, but we saved the best for last. And
Wow.
I would like to introduce my guest and Jen's guest, Stephanie Allen, the CEO of Airworks Solutions.
Thanks so much, Chuck. Happy to be here.
Jeff, go for it.
All right, Chuck.
Podcast style.
Podcast style. Chuck, I'm so happy to be here on the show with you. I hear that you are the original Chuck in a truck, that you came from basically nothing to this massive company that you scaled, you sold, you knew where you were going, and you have all the tips and tricks on how to help us get there. So very excited to be in the same room with you and learning from you and, not holding hands together, but, hand in hand on this trades journey.
I love it.
That was amazing. You forgot his last name, though. You got to do the whole thing.
Jen, that's a trick because I've listened to your podcast and I know how you go. So, but I do know that his business name, the Opus and Golds Group, Golds is the first letter of all of his and Dana's kids. And that's why there's an S on the end of Golds. I thought that was really cool.
Ooh, yep. See, I just know them as the OGs.
Got it. Yeah, but there's actually purpose behind that.
Yeah, that was all me. Dana had to get fancy with Opus and Gold. I was like, it's the OG group.
It's the OG group.
Keep it simple. That. Keep it simple.
Conveniently, you had a child with the G name in there, so it worked out.
Yeah, she's actually my favorite. Don't tell any of my other kids.
Oh my goodness. And then so Stephanie and myself and my husband and her husband met in a very interesting way. Do you want to tell a story how we all met?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd kind of seen each other around and in the industry, but we really got to
met
to know of each other and know about each other in a really deep way through Driven Leadership Gold. And I was actually in Mike's group. And if you haven't been through that transformational experience, you have to do it. But you get to know the people in your group very well. And there were some things that Mike was feeling or saying that I was able to call him out on, basically, and hold him to truth, because I felt like I resonate so much with Jennifer. And being in this strong female position with a partner who loves and adores you, but also wants his space and wants to be loved and adored, it's an interesting balance. And when he's there feeling maybe that he's not, and I'm like, no, she does love and adore you, and she's showing you in all of these ways. Can you see it? Like, open your eyes and see this. And so, we made fast friends over that.
Yes. And then like a week later, I'm in Bold for 3 days, staying in a cabin in the mountains with Stephanie's husband, Kevin.
Right. And I was like, hey, it would be really convenient if Kev didn't have to drive by himself. So can you guys just swing by and pick him up? So I threw him in a car with two people that he had never met before, basically to drive 2 hours to then stay in the mountains where he couldn't escape at all, in a place. It's very remote. You don't have cell service. And it didn't really dawn on me until after, and he's telling the story, how vulnerable that makes him in that situation. Meanwhile, Jen's like, we'll just move over the Yetis and the extra chairs and the blankets and the stuff that I brought. And Kev can fit in here, right? You didn't pack much.
Slide in. Come on, buddy. What's your name? All right, come on.
I think it's important to bring up the leadership, right, aspect of it. Like Bold, like you guys obviously like the program. You make great friends out of it, right? But a lot of owners hesitate when it comes to doing something to improve their leadership, right? And I'm a firm believer of the results of your company is a direct reflection of your leadership. And if you're not constantly improving that leadership, your company is only going to go to a certain level. And then it gets stagnant. If you want your company to grow, you have to improve yourself as well as not. And this is one that a lot of people mistake, right? They'll do the Tony Robbins, they'll do the bold, they'll do all these other things, right? But they won't bring it back to the culture. And now the owner is going ahead, but the culture stays the same. So when you're improving your leadership, it's important to bring it back to your culture too.
I think that's another interesting point. Is both Jennifer and I went through, and then we like pulled our teams in.
100%.
We set them all.
Ingrain them into it. Yep.
Yeah. And I think bold is a step before leadership. Bold is different. Bold is gonna for all of our bold graduates, by the way, all in, deuces, drop a comment, share with your friends.
Nice.
Because it's a different cult humans who have no problem having their insides identified, inspected under a highly severe microscope in front of all strangers for a very long period of time over many hours.
Yeah, it's really hard to actually look at yourself and figure out, what is it? What are the lies that I've been telling myself? What are the things that I've just been able to skate by? Because chances are when you're in the positions that a lot of us are in, it's like, we're good enough. We're good enough to get where we are. And so we've just kind of been okay in that space for too long. And so getting an opportunity to really break yourself down and examine that and your why in a place like bold, it's really incredible to flip the switch, And I realized I knew I was made for more, but I didn't really know, like, I am made for more. And I also came to the conclusion at that time, I was 10 weeks pregnant with Benny, that it wasn't the chapter to explode. Like, I wasn't in the space where I was going to explode into the next version of myself, but I knew that it was there. And right now, that version, a year and a half, 2 years ago, really needed to be about my family, about my kids, about setting really good foundation in my personal life and in my work life. So that way I could then get to that level where I could become, I'm still becoming, if you will. Like, when do we ever arrive? But I'm at a new level of that becoming. And that bold experience was a pivotal point in the journey.
Yeah. I think when you talk to anybody that's gone to bold, you're going to notice that if you try and get them to explain it, you're probably going to get an awkward silence and a long pause for a while as they have some kind of amazing PTSD momentarily and then cannot really capture what they've been through.
You're going to the woods in the sweat lodge, and that's all you need to know.
And you come out highly self-aware, highly self-accountable, or you don't. You get kicked out because you want to blame everybody else.
When you talk about doing it alone and not bringing it back to your people, that type of experience, because it's so hard to explain, you have to live it. And so when I was there, I basically signed Kevin up. And it's supposed to be their idea, but he was definitely voluntold. And so
you can't go through it and then come back and be in the same relationship or have the same team or have the same leadership team. It's not, I don't think that's very possible.
You have to share the juice, drink the juice, then share it. And so he went, and then we started bringing in members of our team, and we actually now work with Driven at a whole leadership level. We're doing EOS with them, and we're doing other leadership training. So we just got through their communications course, and then we start their conflict course. And the amount that it's like rippling through the organization is really incredible.
Yeah.
So
it's not overnight. It takes time, but it does have dramatic impact. Yeah.
We were just on a podcast and we were talking about, Chuck and I were talking to Jason Walker. We were talking about excuses. Like, I've had 100 calls in the last probably 15 days with contractors.
You're going to say 15 minutes because you do have.
Yeah, this is about 15 days. And it's like this laundry list of things. It's like, well, are you generating content? No, I can't because blah, blah, blah. Are you training your team? No, because I can't because blah, 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 blah. Are you contributing? It's like you're going through this list of just the fundamentals, the basic. These are basic fundamentals of what your responsibility is as an entrepreneur. And it is either lack of awareness or awareness and excuses, or awareness, excuses, and ignorance tied together. Meaning, no, I don't need to do that. That's not important. But I think you are a perfect example of someone who's not making any of those freaking excuses. How many children do you have, and how long have you been pregnant, girl?
I have 4 kids under 10. I've been basically pregnant and breastfeeding for a decade.
Yeah, bite that, excuses.
Yeah, we're coming out of that chapter, but I've had plenty of my own excuses, and I'm really finding that a lot of them are being cut by ChatGPT. I'm like, ooh, I don't know any of these things, and guess what? You just throw it into chat.
How you do?
All the answers. I mean, I'm leveraging it for a meal plan right now, right? And it's like, I just take pictures of the back of any of the products I'm using, and it says, yes, approved, here's why, or no, use it for a different phase, and here's why. And
have you taken a picture of your refrigerator and said, create me a meal yet?
I took a picture of a pantry shelf for the grains and asked
that's super cool.
There. Yeah, and it pulls all of that stuff in. It's crazy. And the other thing is that then you can engage. So it's like, oh, make this, and you're like, well, okay, but so my youngest son is allergic to eggs. It's in a lot of things, and so now every time it suggests something, it gives me a Benny alternative.
Nice.
It's getting smarter.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's like, no, he doesn't eat broccoli.
Well,
oh my goodness. But where? Yeah, so
I think the excuse train
is going away.
Yeah, now it becomes not just the ideas, which is a lot of where we should be spending our energy, right? But it's the actual execution, and who has the stamina to execute. Those are the people that are going to win, because ideas aren't that novel, right? None of us are absolutely making something up generally. A lot of it is, like, as we were talking about, it's not rocket science.
Right.
It's who has the team and the stamina to get it done.
100%. So give me 5 examples of what you're using ChatGPT to accelerate that you may have fallen in the excuse bucket previously. Just name 5 professionally.
Professionally. We had it outline our warranty plan, so we're all on the exact same page in a 1-pager. We had it talk about our tech levels to make sure that our compensation tech levels are actually in line, and we can get those set out. We have it. I'm working on a bot to have it basically help us create the price book again and go over that based on information that we're putting in, what we want out to the customer. Sometimes when I can't get my kids down together, I throw them in the car. And so I was in the car the other night putting 2 down, and I asked it to find the top 5 best air conditioning companies in Camarillo, and guess whose company was not on the list? Mine. And then I asked it why. And so now I'm having AI do our market analysis essentially, and then tell me how to get on that list. Turns out you can't just have reviews saying you're professional. They want you to have reviews saying exactly what was done in the home, how it works, etc. So then I had AI make a plan on how to incentivize our service techs to get the right reviews and do it in the right way.
And here's the thing. ChatGPT is not connected to Google reviews.
Oh.
That's different. So we'll get you on AI. That is, you have to have the most efficient content delivery system, i.e. least amount of code, the highest volume of content built in a structured format that AI likes to crawl, and it has to be supported with syndicated versions of that content across the platforms that it uses, whether it's a B2B or B2C or a mixed use search. But yes, I still need all of those things inside your inside your reviews for other reasons.
So that was for number 5, because I was
Yep.
on that chain. I was like, I'm really looking to acquire some local businesses. And then I told Chat the idea of who I think would be great to acquire. And I asked it to give me the top 10 in my area and an area I'm trying to grow with contact information. And it pulled all that information up for me too, and told me why they thought and how I should go about that process. So
if you had to analyze their financials, what would you do before
Oh,
you made
I've also done that. And so we just throw the financials into Chat. Mine is named Kala. She came up with her own name. Yeah. I pried it out of her. So, threw financial information in there and then talked about, okay, so my financials and these financials, what type of economies of scale are we going to experience? What types of things can we cut out? If that being the case, what type of new EBITDA are we talking about? And so it just takes what would have taken weeks to put together. It happens instantaneously almost. And the sooner you get started, the better you get at interacting with the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so the more work I do, the better questions I ask.
Yeah. And the smarter the machine becomes.
I look at it like this. I didn't have ChatGPT when I was, still
A whole
still
2 years ago, way back in
Yeah.
the dark age, 2
I
years
know.
ago,
It's
Chuck.
2 years ago.
Didn't exist.
But I remember when I had to sit down and write the processes, and I got writer's block like crazy. And so how I use ChatGPT is to get me past that writer's block and literally just give me the outline. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get the outline and then revise it. And you can even tell it to revise it until you want it the way you want it, right? So people like are that I'm experiencing, people are saying, "Oh, I don't understand it. It tells me misinformation." It gets you past that writer's block. I locked myself in my office, no kids, no wife, nothing, no employees for a whole weekend, and I wrote out over 300 processes. If I would have had ChatGPT, I could have done it in like 5 hours.
Or 5 minutes. Yes. That,
Yeah.
so Steph and I are launching AI training program bi-weekly. Are we committed to that?
It sounds like you just did it online.
We're going to do AI training weekly, bi-weekly. Well, bi-weekly.
We're going to do it sometime eventually when we feel like it.
We're going to start. What month are we in? I don't even know what month it is. Are we in
The
May?
last day of May.
Put a date to it.
Okay, we're going to start in June and we're going to do it every other week for the next 3 months.
Here we go.
And we're going to help everybody learn how to train an AI to be smarter and faster than anything you could ever do yourself.
Well,
And that's going to come from
I think there's a huge need for it.
The novice voice. Me, I'm going to learn along with it with somebody a few steps ahead.
Well, if you think about this, like, okay, let's say I still own the company right now. The speed that we were going and how we were doubling in size, hiring like crazy. I wouldn't have taken the time to learn it myself. I would have brought someone in to either teach my people or teach me, right? Or I would have just hired an AI expert. I did it with Service Titan. Service Titan got so complicated, I had to hire a person. That's all they did was deal with Service Titan, set up the iPads, answer the questions, all those things, right? $17 an hour, $18 an hour for that person. But it saved so much time. So, like, what else are you doing in your business that's, you could sub out fractional or hire that position?
You're talking to two ladies that don't do their own laundry because we're not doing anything that's below our value.
100%, but a lot of
unless we want to
do that.
Unless we want to, because there are things that I choose to do. Yeah, and I really think that that's the thing that smart people will do is to lean into AI to work at their level of genius. And my level of genius and zone is different than the next person. We've really introduced Chat GPT and other AI agents in the company, but we've also created specialized bots so people that aren't as interested can interact with the bot that we've trained. So I was tired of CSRs having a different answer for the same question again and again and again. Even though it's scripted, right? A lot of times it's in writing. So I'm seeing the text back response or the review response on a lot of these digital platforms. Like, just create a bot. The rule now is you put the customer information in the bot, and Aria, I think is her name, because it was like Airworks intelligent response advocate or something, like
Yeah,
back, and we'll give you the response that you just copy and paste. So
Awesome.
We're not as technical that we're actually having a bot respond directly. So there is a human involved in that. But it's helping issues like there, when they can't spell the right there, that irritates me. So that's handled in the bot, the yours, and just making sure that the brand voice is coming across correctly. And so it's been really fun to watch our leadership team build their own bots for the team. Their team.
I love that.
Give a different voice to them.
Yeah, and if you want to retrain them, modify the bot. Simple as that. And that's even with human interaction. You're still getting a lift in velocity and accuracy and performance. Without doing a full replacement.
Absolutely. I'm really trying to leverage not just efficiency, but opportunity.
That's an interesting challenge dichotomy, right? You're trying to figure out the right balance between high tech and high touch. And somewhere that matters, right? It matters a lot. And it doesn't mean that we should draw a hard line in the sand, which I love the fact that I feel like, Steph, one of the things I appreciate about you the most is you have the ability to change your mind when presented with new information. And you are, and sometimes that can, myself included, it can make me slightly scattered because I can change my mind a lot. I learn a lot, right? So there's that balance, I feel like what you're doing is you're designing a team that's agile and that knows that where we are right now is not where we'll be tomorrow. And where I say we're going tomorrow might not be where we're going the next day, but I need you to be okay with that. Okay.
And I need you to know that I've got you.
I need you. Yes.
Right. Like the intention is pure. The execution might be a little bit fuzzy. Like you're not exactly sure, but when you're on the ship, you are loved, you are cared for. And I will make sure that I'm taking, my intention is good. And I want you to tell me if it doesn't feel that way.
Have you had to go through concern? Did you have to massage the team and get them to the place where they were mentally prepped and ready for technology evolution, AI automations, and so forth? Was it a struggle? Did you have to pull the reins, or the second you went there, they followed?
No, and I think we're still in that as it's evolving. We have the distinct pleasure, blessing, curse of being asked to be on a lot of betas. And so sometimes those betas suck, right? And so the team will follow me into something and then they're like, this didn't work at all. What are we doing here? But they've now figured out that what we're doing is we're trying, iterating, giving feedback. We're actually part of something bigger. And so now they're okay with that. But at first they were blindly following and thought that I was leading them off a cliff. So, we're constantly tweaking the technology, and I think it depends at what level. My technicians are now starting to lean into it when they didn't trust it in the beginning. Right. But my leadership team embraces it a lot more. So it's what do they need at their level to support them in their job? And how can we help them see value? And I think that the idea that they might be replaced in the professional is scary at first. And so I've actually found success in helping them use some of these AI tools in their personal life. And then they become fans and then they bring it into work.
Yeah. I was just going to say, how we led was whenever we rolled something out, we always presented it with what's in it for them, right? Like so technology, a good one that I would use is like, hey, don't you want to get home faster? Don't you want to get home before 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night? Well, I'm going to show this. We're going to implement this process, and this is designed to get you home faster, or something along the lines of that. Like that's my team was always used to me coming up with crazy ideas, but after a certain amount of time of them working and me showing what's in it for them, they were just like, okay, this is not just another crazy idea. This Chuck has proven himself over and over. The team has proven themselves over and over again. It's not just like, oh, we're throwing anything at the wind. Sure, we had times we put things in place and it failed miserably, you know, but it was always a learning lesson. And then were we focused on the right things, putting the right things in place, right? And sometimes as the leader, I had to go and say, hey, guys, I really messed up. And it's okay.
Well, I think that's really important. And so I think one of the things that we do well at Airworks is we know we're human at the top and we talk about those things. So the fact that I'm using AI tools and learning and being excited about them makes it okay for them to do the same thing.
Yep.
The fact that I screw up and we have to pivot and learn about it and we talk about it makes it okay that they're doing the same thing, right?
Yep.
And so I think that you have to model that behavior and you have to be vulnerable in a leadership position also. I'm learning. I am learning how this works. And I'm very open about the fact like, hey, I think this is a great idea right now. Let's try it and then tell me if it's not, right? And most of the time, I have an incredible integrator. Her name's Bridget. I say Bridget professionalizes and takes my ideas to a whole nother level, right? I'm only the spark. So that fire might not have started without me, but it sure as heck is not roaring because of me. Like that's the team. They do that part. I just like light that little spark. And so I couldn't have the freedom and the space to be learning and doing and thinking and growing the way that I am if I didn't have an incredible team of executors doing what they needed to do to get the job done. And so we have to honor and respect everybody in those different positions. And they've really learned that they look at me for that visionary role. And then they're like, get the heck out of here. Like, do not be in our everyday production chats because you take us sideways. We don't get any work done.
And you have to have both. That's the key.
Yeah.
You can't
I just came up with an idea. I just came up with an idea a couple of days ago. Brilliant. And Bridget's like, this is brilliant, but you're not invited. We're going to have weeks where we take no outside meetings. We're just going to work in the business, on the business, because we get distracted by so many new things happening. Sure. And we just need those execution implementation weeks. And she's like, okay, but you're outside. Like, you don't get to be in here either because you will take us sideways. But I love the idea. We're going to do it. We're going to execute. I won't see you next week.
I get it. I get locked out of so many meetings and sheets. Sometimes they'll let me in and be like, hi, Jen, you're not welcome. We love you very much. Go do something. Bye.
We'll give you an update.
No new ideas.
But isn't it great that you have a team that respects you enough to say that to you, right? They know that they're safe and secure and they can say, thank you, no, thank you, go away.
They do too. Yeah. And I have some kind of emotional like lapse when I get off of travel season. I'm in it right now, which is why I haven't left my mom's house since I got here because I have this strange feeling of not being needed. I'm used to traveling every single day of every single week for 9 months straight. And then boom, the last event happens and I come home and I'm like, okay, I just got kicked out of 3 internal meetings where my team was like, out girl. Like go design something, build something.
They've been operating for 9 months without you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I do want to highlight, like, Steph, I think a lot of times companies are saying, well, oh, my competition is PE or this or that. And I'm like, you know what? Your competition is someone like this woman right here who's pressing the envelope every single freaking day reinventing how they think, what they do. She's testing technology inside and out, day in and day out. She's thinking bigger. She's collaborative. She's stepping outside of her zone. She sees no competition. Like this, you don't have to be a $50 million company to be a force of nature, and you're killing it.
Thank you. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's what's on the bottom line. Who are you taking care of? Who are you serving? And I know that I'm making a difference in my community, in my team. That's what's important to me. I want to be 1% better every day, even better if it's more. And, I think right now there's an opportunity, and I've been equating it to Noah's Ark, and I think that might be a little bit cavalier, but it's kind of like you got to get on this ship or you're going to be left behind. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity for those people that are just not willing to make that change. And I want to embrace them. Right? I want
It's
to embrace
happening
them.
faster now than ever before. You used to be able to stay in your own ways, or get comfortable and stay in your old ways. Not anymore. You have to challenge yourself, and you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Do you know what's scary about that, Chuck? That this is the slowest that life will ever be ever again.
Ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right? We are just on the brink. It's like we're on that roller coaster just at the very top, and it's about to fly. Like we're going to go, and this industry doesn't know what's coming. The world doesn't know what's coming.
No.
And because I'm interested, I'm just
it's going to happen in the middle of the night.
Back. I'm listening to AI podcasts, right? And I'm starting to tune in a little bit on a very surface level. And it's so incredible. I'm so amazed by all the things that are going on and the kids that are talking about it, right? That are going to be leading this.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that there are going to be no language barriers. There's the amount of genius that this world is about to see is freaking incredible. And you can either be excited about it and invite it in and embrace it and learn from it, or
grab a shovel,
put your head in the ground, and the rest of you is going in.
Yes.
I heard an interview the other day, and it says we are under evaluating how fast and how much AI is going to improve things. Like we are people have an idea, but they're so undervaluing it right now. And it's great. You're right. It is great. I like it. I'm an old school kind of guy too, right? I still like the old things that I do, and I do find myself getting stuck in a routine.
There are things that it's never going to replace. There are things it's never going to replace, right? Like, can AI put that nail on the wall? Sorry?
Well,
snowmobiling. Chuck loves snowmobiling, fishing.
It's experiences, right? And just like Jason in our last podcast, when he's done with his install, it's an experience for his clients. Yes, he has the technology, he has all those things in place, but he goes an extra step, and he gives that human experience, that human element of it too. So if you can do
how do you build that experience? In AI.
Yep.
Right.
You deliver
how do you train on it?
Person, but you can build it.
How do you measure it? You can measure
Correct.
it. You can track it. You can report on it. You can pro forma it. You can plan it. Those are all AI, so that you save the teeny piece of the puzzle, which is doing it for people.
Right.
But this is right. We're already at a point where if I was to look at the majority of business owners, they're not canvassing the neighborhood. I watch you bake cookies for an entire freaking community. Put your kids in a freaking wheel wagon. I don't even know what it's called, a big old wagon. Drag the freaking kids in the candy and the little pretty cookies, and they're made, and they got some stickers and all that stuff, and the popsicles and all the stuff. And you're you, Jason, you guys, we already have an entire industry that's not doing that. They're not knocking on the neighbor's door while they're doing the install. So when you say that you don't have the experience as a part of your MO, your DNA, and you're not using the technology to increase velocity,
Well, and I think that those human touches are going to be even more important,
Yes, I agree.
right? Because you are going to get used to engaging with your AI and your agents, but there's something about the human interaction. And we saw this in COVID, like we saw a bit of this, right? That is so important just for our mental well-being.
Yeah.
And so we need to also capitalize on that.
But their tolerances, like people's tolerance for an unexceptional experience is low.
Yeah.
They're
I
either
did,
going to want very efficient and no human interaction, or they're going to want human interaction with heart.
And you know how you'll know?
An authentic. Yeah.
When you do a personality assessment in your chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll have all the data. How does this person want to be interacted with?
Yeah.
Because you're leveraging those correct tools.
Right.
Yeah. I did a pretty cool study internally in my company with handwritten notes, right? And it was, direct mail, but we did it with handwritten notes. And you can hire a company, it's handwriting.com or handwritten.com, something like that. And it's pretty dang close, right? And the open rate and response rate was like 40% better. And then so I took it a step further and I was like, okay, so I'm going to do a smile program, is what we called it, with our CSRs. So the CSRs, anytime they heard someone was having a, birthday celebration or anniversary or anything like that, they grabbed a card and they wrote it out and they gave it to our coordinator and they mailed it out to the people. And it's like those little things, that you do is going to make all the difference.
That's the real estate way. Brian Buffini model. All right.
Yeah, I love looking at different industries and bringing those kind of models into the industry. Jason talked about it. I hate to keep bringing them up, but it was a great point. It's like Disneyland. Why will people pay $40 for a chicken leg? Because it's the happiest place on earth.
It does not seem that there is anything wrong with the economy when you go into Disneyland.
Nothing.
No, that place is freaking booming.
Packed.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the moment where, like, don't lean too far to either side. Don't ignore either side. Don't make an excuse to do one because we think one's more important.
Sure.
I like the fact that you're dividing your mental space. I like the fact that you're dividing your attention. I like the fact that you're prioritizing both as high leveraged activities. I like the fact that you are in rapid innovation and rapid testing and evaluation, and that you're not doing any dumb stuff by signing long-term contracts and long-term agreements. And I mean, you're giving yourself the freedom and the space
right now because things move too fast.
Yeah.
You have to be able to pivot, and you don't want to be locked into any of those things.
Yeah. If a tech company tells you to sign a 12-month agreement, tell them to bite me and move on. That's my version.
Well, they're trying to do that because they're scared.
I don't know if that's
locked into any contracts right now. It's because they're scared they're going to lose you and somebody else is coming up, and that should frighten you. Yes. You shouldn't have to be in any of those contracts. Yeah. And I'm pushing back on contracts from big players. And with the argument of, if you were really built for me, you wouldn't make me sign this. If you were really secure in your product, you wouldn't make me sign this.
I'm in an enormous battle right now with Rippling, that provided our HRIS platform for international and US, with Zoom. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, they're going to have to get over it or I'm out. I hate
contracts.
Yeah.
Memberships are different. Contracts. Yeah.
Love us or leave us, baby.
Yeah. And, a lot of those industries are all having to figure out how to do this too. I'm an attorney, and I've been talking to a lot of my attorney friends. Are you nervous about what's happening with AI? Right? Because I would be terrified if I was worried about my billable hour. And one of my girlfriends, who's a estate planning attorney, said it's already here. for a budget plan, a client comes to me, they put all of their information into the system that we already have. It spits out all the documents, and I have 1 hour with them to go over them and make sure it's all right.
Yeah.
Right. But now she's able to serve more people. She's seeing it as a positive also. So it's so much of what's happening right now is about mindset and adoption. If you have the right mindset and you're willing to learn, adopt, pivot, that's what's going to get you to the next level. So
100%.
We don't need to do hours of legal research anymore. But that concept that might take that information that's able to be compiled for you so quickly and turn it and do something new with it, that's on us. This is our opportunity to go far fast because we have no excuse that we have to do research. All the history is at our fingertips.
Yeah. I would just say, so if somebody's listening and they're going, oh, Steph, I tried it and I get bad data or I get bad this or it's hallucinating or whatever. So number one, you need to be in a paid account. Number two, you need to have the intent of setting up the training strategy for training your AI based on a very specific, these are my roles, these are my objectives, this is my business, this is my brand, this is your persona, this is who I need you to act as, this is my intent, this is the result that I want.
If you're using your chat like you would one of your employees, will be fine.
Train an
right?
employee.
And then what do you have to do?
Retrain.
Consistency. Remind.
Yes.
You have to be consistent because there will be times where my chat says something and I'll say, Kella, remember, I don't want this rubber stamped. I don't want you to be a yes man. And there are some times where I want
you to challenge my request. Yes, I want new insights. Make sure you tell me what I didn't ask.
Right.
Yes.
Tell me how to make this prompt better.
Yes.
Well, if you want these things, I love to tell it the direction I want to go and then ask for a prompt because its prompts are way smarter than my prompts. And then I refine that one again.
Yes. There is no instance where, I mean, we're approaching the point of singularity. And there is not an instance where you will have a human being that can produce something better, faster, freaking period. Unless they don't know how to use AI. And we can fix that. This is, you can't. The second version of this where it's tied into quantum computing, game over.
Yeah, so you start to use words that I don't understand sometimes, but
I'm
like happy to be your friend and I'll throw all of that into chat at some point. But I want you guys to know that a month or two ago, I'm talking to Jennifer and I was like, Jen, stop with the doomsday. And it's her concern of people aren't adopting this fast enough. They don't know where we're going. They're going to be left behind. What are we going to do? Right. And there is that side of this could be a dark time, or there's okay, let's talk about it. Let's teach people about it. Let's embrace it. Let's like the mindset. And so that's why we want to work together and figure out, let's bring more people along, right? Now is the time. Just start engaging with the technology that's out there and learn, oh, I can do this. Last week, there was a plant at my friend's house that I knew wasn't lavender, but he said it was lavender. I'm like, that is definitely not lavender. I pulled up my plant app and I checked it out, right? And I thought, wonder if chat can do this. So then I pulled out chat, took a picture. It told me the exact same thing as the plant app, but then I could ask it questions. I asked, is it related to lavender? Apparently it's a distant cousin to lavender. So that's, I guess, where the friend went wrong. And then I asked, is it edible? Right? And those questions couldn't have been asked to this app.
Delete the plant app. You're done. Subscription canceled.
Right.
You know, Stephanie, this is why Jen keeps me around, because I just dumb things down for everybody. This is what we've been told, right?
I think that's important. We have to all be able to communicate.
But look, you can find the bad in anything.
Sure.
Like think about through history, right? If you want to find the bad in something, you're going to find the bad in it. You want to find the good in something, you're going to find the good in it, right? And it's not about you, exactly what Jen said. Be on both sides of it right now. There is going to come a point where, one's going to be stronger than the other. And it's adapt and overcome. If you keep looking and thinking this is doomsday, guess what? It's going to be doomsday. The Terminator is going to come out of your kitchen and you're not going to be prepared.
And
But if
I'll
you're
be there prepared, ready to scoop up your people and your customer
give
base.
me a
Don't you
freaking
worry.
robot. Like, give me a robot. Like, I am all set. I will never mow the lawn again. I will never clean
Oh.
up dog poop. I will never cook. I will never change diapers. I will never, like, give me the freaking robot. All right. Like, I'm not afraid of this stuff. You can't be afraid of it. But, you know, and if something happens, be prepared. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have
I
to go this prepper madness.
But that's
Right?
the
You
same
know?
thing. That's old school too, Chuck. Right? It's
Yeah.
like always put me into a situation and there's an opportunity to learn and to move your direction. It just has to happen
Yeah.
faster. It just has to
yeah,
happen.
and I think this is my thing, is where I am going to be very firm is
You tell us, Jed.
where I'm very firm is where there are professional advisors with influence that
Yep.
have no right and no business to downplay the impact on this industry that they will feel. That is the doomsday. The impact for not paying attention, not reinvesting, not educating yourself, not evolving, not changing. That I do not appreciate. I do not appreciate because someone doesn't understand it, that they act as an advisor, or because they are not willing to put cash, their investments in what's necessary to evolve at the expense of the companies that trust them for their livelihood. And that's where I will definitely give me a stage, put them all on the stage, give me some gloves. We're going to town.
It's a tool.
Well, yeah, it's almost like they're not fulfilling their fiduciary duty.
That is not okay to me. To me, that is you're taking advantage. Like, you know better. If you don't know better, stop acting like an advisor. Just stop and go do some homework. Go study.
Well,
It's a
just pull out your
tool.
check.
Learn how to use the tool, right? If you don't, like, understand how to use the tool. If you never want to use the tool, if you're one of those people that are so afraid and never want, just understand it. And then hire somebody to use the tool.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't even. It's so much bigger than that. This is bigger than that. This is, you go to sleep on a Monday.
Mhm.
You press the little button or your phone automatically updates. And on Tuesday, AI is naturally integrated into the device that you normally talk to ask when your next appointment is or what the weather is. But now it can do all the homework, do the research, book the appointment, set it up, add it to your calendar, send you a text. And you never visited a website. You never called the company. You never got the app back. You never got anything. That is not you can't outsource that. That's human beings, the consumers that own 20 plus smart devices in their house they use every single day. When that update occurs, and then they have an intelligent tool that will do the homework for you. If the business owners that notoriously as mom, dad, husband, wife, we adopt these things and we expect these things as business owners, as mom, dad, husband, wife, but then we don't evolve our business to be able to support the very thing that we want as a consumer. That can't happen.
Yep.
You know why?
Agreed.
Because we're just contractors.
Bullshit. No, you're not.
That's the excuse that gets Jen so fired up, right? And that's what you're saying right now is you're not just a contractor, you're an entrepreneur. And then those people out there that are supposedly advising us, the gurus that are taking money and equity and all of those things, and then allowing entrepreneur contractors to fail, it's irresponsible.
And
100%.
downplaying what's coming.
100%. Agreed. Awesome.
Hope we get to open up some people's eyes here. And here's the message. Just start. Start today. Learn. Figure out the AI. And I'm hoping to help build a community that, brings you along the way.
I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to join it because I want to learn more about it. So make sure you include me on your launch,
Will
Jen,
do,
and
Chuck.
I'll be your accountability partner because it's now June, and if you don't get going, I'm going to be calling both of you.
Beautiful.
Stephanie, thanks for coming on. I know it's Friday. I know you've got lots of things going on. It's busy season, so we appreciate your time, and thanks for everybody to listening and chiming in. Share, like, and subscribe, please. Or Jen will come find you with her AI bot. Hope everybody has a great weekend.
Yeah,
Thanks so
you guys,
much.
thank you so much for joining. You guys find Steph online, follow her. She's got lots of great advice, great input. If you get an opportunity to be in her presence, ask questions, pick her brain. I do it.
And thank you both for hosting this and
Awesome.
really having an inclusive community coming from all different sides of this angle. It's really important. So appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
everyone.
Have a wonderful weekend. Go play golf.